Picture this. It's 1930. Before the sun comes up, you're already behind the wheel. By tonight, you'll haul hundreds of miles of freight, help a stranger you'll never see again, eat where truckers eat, and search for somewhere safe enough to sleep. But before this day is over, we'll answer one question: how much money you made and how much of it disappeared before the day was over. Let's find out. 3:30 in the morning. It's dark and it's cold enough that you can see your breath the second you step outside. You make black coffee first. There's no time for anything more than that. Then you walk around the truck with a flashlight, checking the oil, the water, the tires. Same routine every single morning, because the one time you skip it is the time something goes wrong. You climb in and turn the key. The engine coughs twice before it catches. You let it warm up for a minute, watching your breath fog the inside of the windshield. Then you pull out onto the road toward the terminal, toward a day that hasn't really started yet. The dock is already busy when you get there. Men calling out numbers, crates moving, a foreman checking a clipboard without looking up at you. You back the truck in, someone hands you delivery papers, and you sign where they point. Today it's canned goods, heavy enough that you can feel the truck settle a little lower each time another crate goes in. You watch the loaders stack it carefully. Too much weight in the back and the truck rides wrong for 600 miles. A dock worker you recognize nods at you. Long one today? Chicago to St. Louis. Back tomorrow. He just whistles. Doesn't say anything else. The last crate goes in. The doors swing shut and someone runs a chain through the handles. That's it. Whatever's back there is yours now. Every bump, every turn, every mile between here and St. Louis. You climb back into the cab. You hear the doors close behind you, and that's what starts it. The day is yours now. You ease out of the yard. The city is still mostly asleep around you. Just a milkman on his route, someone sweeping a sidewalk outside a shop that hasn't opened. Then the buildings start to thin. Fewer lights, more space between them. Nobody is checking on you anymore. Nobody is standing over the load, over the schedule, over your shoulder. It's just you and 600 miles and however long it takes to cover them. The sun starts coming up behind you as the last of the buildings fall away. By the time the sun's fully up, it's just farmland in every direction, and something about that feels like it belongs to you. The wheel takes real effort in a truck like this. No power steering, nothing to make it easy. But your arms have learned the rhythm of it, and once they have, it stops feeling like work. It starts feeling like something closer to rest. Nobody's talking to you. Nobody needs anything from you. The only decision in front of you is which side of the road to take the next curve on. This is the part of the job that's hard to explain to somebody who's never done it. You'd think 600 miles alone would wear on a man. Some days it does. But some mornings, you understand exactly why men keep choosing this life over one that keeps them home every night. You feel it before you really hear it. A soft thump, and then the truck starts pulling to the right. Flat tire. You pull onto the shoulder and get down to look. A nail, probably picked up somewhere, back on that last stretch of gravel. There's no radio to call anyone, and no number to dial even if there was. Just a jack, a spare, and your own two hands. The ground is cold and hard. A couple of cars pass without slowing down. You start to fix it and it takes the better part of an hour. You wipe your hands on a rag once the spare's on, and for a minute you just stand there, feeling every one of those minutes you just lost. Then you climb back in. The road's still waiting. So is lunch somewhere up ahead. Just past noon, a diner comes into view with a gravel lot big enough for a truck to actually pull into. That matters more than people realize. You sit down at the counter and the coffee's already pouring before you're all the way settled. 10 cents a cup. She doesn't ask if you want one. She already knows. You order a hamburger and a slice of pie. Comes to about 35 cents. The warmth in this room, after 2 hours on that shoulder in the cold, is worth more than the food is. You take your time with lunch. There's no rush right this minute, and for 15 minutes, that's enough. Just the coffee, the warm room, and somebody who talks to you like a person instead of a truck. You leave a couple of coins on the counter. Outside, the truck's engine is still ticking as it cools. About an hour past lunch, you spot another truck pulled over on the shoulder, hood up. A man standing there staring at the engine like it owes him money. You don't think twice. You just pull in behind him. Turns out his belt snapped and he doesn't have a spare today. You do different truck, but close enough. You dig it out from behind your seat and hand it over. 15 minutes, heads down over the engine. barely talking except to pass tools back and forth. It catches. He wipes his hands on his pants. Appreciate it. Anytime. That's really the whole conversation. You don't know his name, and he doesn't know yours. But this is just what you do out here. Nobody trains you for it. Nobody has to. Every man on this road knows what it's like to be the one standing over a busted engine with no help in sight. And every man on this road knows what it's like to be the one who stops. You're back in the cab a couple minutes later, and he's right behind you, headed the other way. His truck disappears behind you, and it's just you again. The road hasn't changed. Something in you has. The morning's energy has worn down into something quieter. You find yourself thinking about the kitchen table back home. Whether the kids are back from school yet, what your wife's doing right now, this exact minute. There's no way to check. Not until tomorrow. The radio picks up a station for a while, but mostly it's just engine noise now, and your own thoughts. Running the same loop they always run by this point in the day. This is the part of the job nobody really warns you about. Not the flat tires, not the long hours, just how quiet it gets inside your own head, this many miles from anyone who knows you. By the time the sun's really going down, you've been at this since 3:30 this morning. That's starting to show now. The dark comes on faster than it should. Your headlights only reach so far ahead of you, and everything past that is just guesswork. Your eyes are working harder than they were this morning. Every shape at the edge of the light takes a second longer to make sense of than it would in daylight. A fence post, a mailbox, nothing most of the time. Just your own tired mind filling in gaps the light can't reach. You roll the window down an inch. The cold air helps more than the coffee did 3 hours ago. This is the hardest stretch of the whole day, and it's not because anything's actually gone wrong. It's just fatigue and darkness. In a road you can only see 20 feet of at a time. You start watching for somewhere to stop. You spot a farm entrance up ahead, wide enough and far enough off the road. You pull in slowly and cut the engine. Silence. The kind that rings in your ears after a full day of engine noise. Your shoulders finally drop. There's no bed back here, just the bench seat, and by now you know how to fold yourself into it well enough to get some real rest. Jacket rolled up for a pillow. A blanket over your legs, because the cold's already setting in. You check that the doors are locked. Look out at the dark, quiet field beside you. For the first time all day, nothing is asking anything of you. Tomorrow you'll drive this whole day again, in reverse. Tonight this is enough. Before you close your eyes, you do the math. Habit more than anything at this point. About 300 miles today. At your rate per mile, that's a decent day. Not a fortune, decent. Gas ran a little over $2 at a quarter a gallon. Lunch was 35 cents. The flat tire cost you nothing but an hour. You sit with the number for a second longer than you need to. It's not much when you add it all together, but it's steady as long as the truck keeps running and the weather holds. Some days, steady is the whole win. You put the notepad away and close your eyes. The field stays quiet. The truck ticks once more, finishing its cool down. Tomorrow starts the same way today did. 3:30, dark, cold enough to see your breath. Some of it will be easy, some of it won't. Maybe a flat tire. Maybe a stranger who stops to help. Coffee poured before you've even sat down. Nobody's going to write this day down anywhere. It won't make the papers. But 600 miles of canned goods made it exactly where they needed to go. Because you got up in the dark and did the same steady work you did yesterday and the day before that. That's really the whole job. Just one ordinary day lived out on the road, over and over for as long as the truck keeps running. If you like this video, hit subscribe. Here we show how truckers kept going even when the roads, bridges, and infrastructure were against them. They faced tough conditions, but they never gave up. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.